Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And I'm here today because I didn't plan like any script. I'm just gonna be like talking freely, like when I'm talking to a friend. So, is it the sex the same as it is for men as it is for women? As a woman myself, even though some people might strongly disagree, you're entitled to have your own opinion. I will say it is not, okay? I know we're living in modern times and all that, but let's keep it real. It is not the same. Why? Okay, I'm gonna start from what I call the biological point of view. And if you look at the reproductive system of a man, I mean, you don't have to look at it, but if you have to look at it, I mean, you can picture it in your mind. Don't do it now. Oh my goodness. So, now being that serious, the reproductive system of a man is outside, you know. But however, in us ladies, it is inside. And I do believe that, like a metaphor, it explains a lot. For us, it is connection. Put it in other words, sex give man clarity, and for women, it gives us cloudiness. What do you mean, Jasmine? Well, I know that for men, they are motivated when they meet a new girl, by having intimacy with her, because they want to know, it's like a new box. How does this new box feel? They're curious. They're moved by curiosity. And after they completed the act, clarity comes to their mind. And they might be attracted physically, then sexually to this person, but after they complete the act, they're gonna be like, oh, not all the time, but when they have clarity, they can tell, like, I really like this girl for who she is, or they're gonna be like, oh, I think I made a mistake. On the other hand, for us women, after we have intimacy with a guy, we get cloudiness, because we almost always involve feelings. That's how women's mind work from my perspective. And I'm gonna tell you a very personal story, because we're a family here, and I feel like this is a free judgmental zone, and I can trust on you. Years ago, I thought it was a good idea to have a friend with benefits, because I was in a stage of my life in which I didn't want to have a relationship, and I didn't have the time in. I was studying, I was doing so many things. I take relationships very seriously. And just by the record, I'm not judging the people who do like it, but I'm not into casual sex, because I know myself. And when I have sex with someone, I have intimacy, I'm gonna fall in love with that person. Yes, I cannot separate it. To me, sex is not just sex, because it is not. It is a connection. You're allowing this person, to take part of your whole being. And I cannot tell, like, okay, it was just an act. Well, I cannot see it that way. But on the other hand, I cannot deny that it is a need. Sex per se, it's a need. And if you look at or if you have heard about the pyramid of Maslow, okay, he prioritized the different needs that we have in our life. And at the bottom of the pyramid, we have the biological needs, and he includes, of course, oxygen, he includes water, he includes food, because those are the things that every human being needs to be alive. And he put on that category, he put sex, because it is a need. So because it was a need, and that's the way I look at it, because I have never experienced just being intimate with someone without being in a relationship, I thought that it was gonna be a good idea just to have a friend with benefits. And I was like, okay, perfect, because I don't have to put that much energy, because number one, we're clear on what it is, and he knows and I know, this is what we want, this is what we need at this moment. But then, and I read it in a book, I can't recall the name of the book, but before reading in that book, I learned it the hard way. After you are with a guy for more than like 3 times, that is the maximum amount of time you can be with that guy before getting so, into that person. And I learned it the hard way. So after being, with my friend with benefits for a long period of time, I was so screwed, because I fell in love without even realizing with this person. I'm a woman. For him, a man, it was just, I was his friend, he loved me just as a friend and all that. And I started to feel differently toward him. And my goodness, my heart just got broken, because I remember it was years ago. I'm talking about like 10 years ago. And it was actually by this timing when the new year is coming, resolutions and all that. I went to his place, and because, I was his friend with benefits and all that. And after, I went to the kitchen to have some water. And then he was like kind of working on his New Year's resolutions. And I did something, because I was not looking at him like my friends with benefits anymore. I started looking for things in his apartment, something that I have never done before, and because I was praying, God, oh my gosh, take me out of this. What have I done? Why did I do this? I'm so stupid. How could I fall in love with this person? And I was like, God, please, I don't want to suffer. What should I do? But my pride was so high, I didn't want to tell him, that. So as I was saying, I didn't want to tell him or be open to him about my real feelings, because that will completely change what we agree on. However, one of the agreements that we had was that we will be friends with benefits if we were both singles. Like if we fall in love with another person, or we're started to be attracted to another person, like wanting to have a formal relationship with a person, we will stop it. So we were exclusive, according to myself. So as I was saying, I started looking for things in his apartment. I have never done it before, but I was starting to get psycho. So he has his office, his desk at his apartment, and I went there for the first time. I started to look for things, and I saw a paper, and this paper has like some like bullet points, and then I started to look for the other papers that were under that the first page. And it says like, oh, what do I want my life to be, blah, 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 when I turn, I don't know, like, let's say 30. And he has like so many things, like he has accomplished and all that. I also do that. I do that. I actually have to do that because, the year is almost over. So, and I started reading. And at the very end of the page, it says like, I started, like the things we have accomplished that year. And it says, I just started dating my dream partner. She is beautiful. She's this, she's that. She's the kind of girl like I want to take home for Christmas. Yes. And I was like, of course that person was not me. I felt numb at that moment because I was so heartbroken. I was so hurt. Number one thing, because he never told me about it. And forget about the benefit part of being friends. We were friends. And we promised to always be honest to each other. And we also have an agreement on stop this friend with benefit shit that we have if we started having interest on another person. So he lied to me. It was a betrayal. I feel betrayed. I was betrayed. But on the other hand, like, I couldn't make a big deal out of it because I was not his girlfriend. He was not my boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. And I started shaking. I didn't know what to do. So I drank more water, went to the room. He was sleeping. I woke him up and I told him, I have to go. And I was so like, my face, I am the kind of person who I cannot hide how I feel in my body. You will see it immediately. And the harder I try, the worse it gets because it's so freaking obvious. So I was trying to put her on an act and be like, I have to go, but why so early? We always have breakfast together. Like we were doing boyfriend and girlfriend shit, you know? About like, let me make breakfast for you and all that. I was like, I'm not hungry, I have to go. And then I couldn't resist. And I told him just this. You know, when a woman asks you this question, guys, she has all the evidence. She just wants a confession. Have you always been honest to me? Because I told him, like, above all things, I have always been genuine. I have always been transparent, which was bullshit because I was not telling him that I was in love with him. But well, for the most part, I have always been honest. Blah, blah, blah. Have you ever lied to me? Is there something you want to tell me? And with a straight face, he said, no, I have always been honest to you. And then I'm gonna give him a chance, or I'm gonna give him a clue that I discovered what I just discovered. Even though I was so wrong, because when you're invited to someone's place, that doesn't give you the right to be looking in someone's private shit, you know? So I was wrong, super, super wrong. But well, I just did what I did. I couldn't take it back. But it was God protecting me, you know, because I was praying God, and it was like, okay, there you go. You pray for that girl, and I'm giving it to you. Now you can have some clarity. He said like, no. And I told him like, well, I did something super wrong, super bad. I have to confess to you, like, for the first time, I promise it is the first, and it will be the last. I started, you know, looking for your private things, and I found a paper in which you were working on your life plans, life goals. And he was like, oh, what page? And I was like, the one that is on your desk. I described it to him vividly, and he was like, oh, you know that is so wrong. I was like, I started like crying, but not dramatic, just a few tears. I couldn't hold them anymore. And I said like, yes, but I am so sorry. I should have never done it. I apologize. I could have kept it to myself, but I'm here being honest and apologizing. He said like, okay, that's okay. I understand. As far as you don't do it again. It was so calm. But I was like, okay, but I did what I did. Is there anything you want to tell me? And he was like, no. Like, no, there's nothing. My gosh. Okay, long story short, I left the apartment. I said goodbye to him like nothing had happened. Went to my house, started crying, called my sister, called my best friends, everyone, like, we told you so because you're so soft. We told you that was wrong, but well, here you are, heartbroken. And then, how did I overcome that relationship? Number one, contact zero, okay? I'm sorry, I lost a friend, but I needed to have my mental peace back, and that is priceless. So I did what we call contact zero. Means I completely cut any kind of communication from this person. I didn't need any closure, because a lot of us, especially women, we look for closure, like, but I'm gonna confront him. I need one more explanation. I need this. Like, no, there was nothing. I had all the freaking answers. And by the time I confronted him and I told him, like, is there anything you have to tell me? I found this page, and he said no. That was the closure. So I was like suffering. I was so freaking heartbroken. Ruined my Christmas, ruined my New Year. But then at the same time, I was like, I got rid of it. And I was also thinking to myself, why would you want to have a boy? Because that's what he was. He had so many good qualities, but at the end of the day, it was like, if I have found my dream partner, you know, because that's how my mind works. If I have found my dream partner, as he put on that paper, the girl you want to take home for Christmas, blah blah blah. Do you think I'm gonna be risking my relationship to be with another person? And I was like, I feel bad for this girl because, you know, this guy is seeing another girl, and he wanted to continue being my friend with benefits even though he had this person. Like, wow. Because as I said, for men different for women, sex is just sex, and for us ladies it is connection. So my advice is I'm not telling you not to have a friend with benefits, but you know, think about my experience. And I'm not telling you to wait until you get married to be with this person. But intimacy is, don't take it as a joke, don't take it as a game. And after that, I promised myself not to be intimate with a guy ever unless I was clear on what we have, and it was like a very formal relationship, and we promised to be exclusive, or that I was officially his girlfriend. So I promised myself never ever try that shit again, because that doesn't work for me. So that's my advice. Like, if you have like kind of this same opinion about sex, so my recommendation is don't be with the guy if you haven't defined what you are. And don't you ever think like, oh, after he had sex with me, I'm gonna gain his heart and he's gonna be like, oh, she's the girl I wanna be with. Because that's not how, unfortunately, males might work. They just see it as an act, and they can continue with their life completely. And don't mistake like the act. It can be super passionate, it could be super like, you feel like, oh my gosh, but the way he kissed me, the way he's with me, he loved me. No, my dear, they're just enjoying the heat of the moment, pleasure. But for us it is different. So I just wanted to share some of my experience, and I just hope that it might help. So if you haven't subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe. I'm gonna be creating content more frequently, just talking about, you know, my experiences and stuff, and like the video. So I love you, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.